have places
Okay.
places where you can find us.
Okay.
These images here. I wanted them to not have too much space between them.
Okay. Yeah,
Like a space between each image.
you can increase the width of the images. If you increase the width, it will shrink the pages, the space between them.
But I did that and it wasn't, the spaces were just stagnant, but the width of the image was increasing.
Okay. All right. Let's check your CSS. Let's check your code. Let's just see your code overall. Well, this is nice. Just that change that you need to implement. Well, let me see your code. Your code structure. Okay. Okay, you did inlines, you did styling inside the HTML document.
No. This is something else.
This is something else.
Yeah, let me go to my. Okay, so this is it.
Okay. But the first one you showed us, I saw styling in the head section. Which one is that?
That was for the external now, the separate now.
Okay, the nav that you separated its own. Okay, the nav link that you separated. All right, so
Yeah.
that's fine. I'm seeing your okay. Okay, your CSS is structured well, and the naming convention is fine. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, what I advise you do to choose a pattern. Either you put them together in one document instead of having menu.html and this.html. You can separate them like this, or you put them together in one index.html. Choose any of them. Number one. Number two, as a general rule, try not to put like that first page you showed us that had styling in the HTML file. That is not correct. Use external styling.
Okay.
Use external we're professional, so by standard use external styling, because by the time you start linting means there are softwares that optimize your code to make it standard. If you run it with lints, it will flag an error that you're not supposed to have a style inside your document. So that's, let me see that first one you showed us that had the styling in the head section. Okay, something like this. You can have another CSS called recipe.css and just link. You know how to link them using the link tag.
Yeah.
So you can do that, or you can just congest everything inside one index.html and style it. But separating it is very good because it makes your code more maintainable. Like somebody does not have to scroll through a whole bunch of write-up. So separating it is actually very, very good. So it's a nice one. So I would advise, since you started separating, keep it up. Separate everything, but make sure Recep has its own CSS document, not inside the recep.html, but a separate CSS external. Number one. Then number two, I can see all your images. What I would advise you do, create a folder called img and put all your images in that folder.
Okay.
So you know how to create a folder. Yeah, if you scroll up, you click that folder icon. No, not there. Not go back. Click, yeah. After, yeah, not that one is for file. That one is for, yes, the third one, yeah, that one is for folder. Is it? Click that, no, click that the 3 dots. Let's see. New folder, exactly. Okay. So if you create a new folder, all you need to do, call it img. Yes, image. Then put all your images inside. Then reference them. This time around, if you're referencing them, you have to now put ./img/ the name of the file. We've done it before, I guess. I'm sure you understand what to do. So they don't look scattered. So just put all of them in one folder. But that's fine. Your work so far, it's very commendable.
Excuse me, sir. When you reference it, you said you do ./img.
The way you normally reference, okay, like on line 78. Just wait, on line 78. You see the way you reference your stuff.
No, you can just say it. I will understand. Just
okay. So if you put all of them in one folder, you have to reference with its img/. Yes. img slash. You call the folder name first, then you call the
Okay, no longer dot slash. It's img slash.
dot slash img dot slash img since they're not in the same folder. Dot slash. I'm trying. I think I either I'm misplacing it. If you try dot slash, just try slash. One of them will work. Well,
okay, sir.
if you're creating a folder, I think it's dot slash because they're not in the same folder that directory now. Okay, that's fine. So the styling you talked about, I'm sure you figure it out. What you do is increase the size of the width of your images, and make sure that the same width. If they are the same width, they will all fit into that space. Another option you can do is to just increase the size instead of making it complicated. Just try that option. I also want you to know how to research and get answers to your questions. So once if you do it and you have an issue, Google it. But after Googling, if you still have an issue, then within the week, please contact me and say, okay, I've tried this option and it's not working. What do I do? Because part of this work is also knowing how to make research and look for solutions. All right, so I saw somebody, Toby, joining us. Is it? And I saw somebody. Is it? Are these people? Hello, Toby. Were you part of this class? Did you do these assignments? Hello.
Yeah, I can stop sharing my screen now, right?
Pardon?
I can stop sharing my screen.
Yeah, you can stop sharing.
Okay.
Okay, I just wanted to know. Uzi is not here on this call. I wanted to see her work too and what she did. Okay, it's a nice one. Just implement those changes. And today I just want to talk on something. You can stop sharing. We started.
Hello,
sir. Go ahead.
Toby and a group of us, we are here actually in the church, and they want to join the class from JavaScript.
Okay, but I will want, because if you're working with, I need to be sure you have a good foundation with what we're doing so far. That's just my worry. If you don't have a good foundation, we're going to struggle with JavaScript. So I need him to speak. Let him speak. Let me know what he has done so far, so we know what to do.
Okay, we're about 5 here actually, so to mute yourself so we don't have reverberation. I want us to talk to that one. Is it active? Hello, sir, can you hear us?
I can hear you, David.
Okay, so they have done these things before. They are on React actually. They are the students of Mr. Mike, direct students of Mr. Mike.
Yeah, okay.
It's just that they want to also start the JavaScript with us. They'll be connecting with their different systems in our subsequent classes.
Okay, no problem. That's fine.
For now, we don't have light, so we are clustered here.
All right, no problem. Okay, so last week we did something about command line. Yeah, I was supposed to drop the video, but for some reason, my week has been something else, and I wasn't feeling too well. Sorry for that. But I'll just go through what we did last week. We'll do command line today, and we'll open a GitHub account today. And I've told you why we need to do these things. Now, if you've done these things on your local machine, your computer, when I mean local machine, I mean your computer. Now, somebody who's in the US and wants to offer you a job, the person wants to be sure you know how to code, you know how to design website. How would the person see your work? The person can't come back to Nigeria and have access to your system before. So the idea why we are doing this is they need to know. GitHub is like a remote server where you push the work you've done so far so that anybody in the world can see what you've done, can see your work, and can judge you by your work. Now, why do we do command prompts? As we proceed in this field, there are so many plugins, so many bundles Don't worry, you understand what I mean bundles, you understand them as time goes on. So many bundles, plugins, so many things that you've been installing, and they are installed with the aid of the command line. The command line, as we know, is this black thing you've seen here. And this is how you activate it. Just come to your system, type CMD or anything, command prompt, it pops up, just as in my system. Another option is if you go to your VS Code, there's an option here. You see terminal. You open new terminal. I've already clicked it. This opens your command line prompt for you. Your terminal for you. So this is the same thing as this, but this one comes inbuilt with VS Code. Why this one comes with your system? Is that clear?
Hold on, sir. Please come again. Are you recording?
Yes, I am. I'm not sure I've said a lot. I was just okay. I just talked about the command line, and I just a sec. Let me confirm this. Okay. I just talked about the command line and what we need. I said today we'll be learning about the introduction. I will introduce you to the command line, and I will introduce you to some prompts or some prompts that the command line uses. And I said, why do we need to know how command line works? Why do we need to know how to use the command line? And I also said that we'll be doing a little bit of GitHub. What is GitHub? Let me open one. It's called github.com. Is a website. This is a website. This is a website called github.com. Now, this is my own GitHub. This is my GitHub profile. This is my GitHub profile. Now, can you see my screen? Now I said, why the work you just did is in your local machine. And you may probably you're applying for a job, but I want to convince somebody who lives in the US or who lives outside Nigeria that you are a software developer or a programmer. The person doesn't have to come down to Nigeria to access your system to see what you've done. Now, GitHub provides a way where you can carry what is in your local machine. What we mean the word local means is your machine, and put it in a remote server. So GitHub provides that remote server for you, such that your work can be hosted on that remote server. And all you need to do is to give the person the link to that your server. This is my own link. So if I give you this link, if you type this link on Google, it opens this page. So on this page, you can see everything I have done in terms of coding. Now, all these things are the works that I have done, all these things. So you can go ahead and open any of my work and see, okay, this guy has done this thing. Let me see what he has done so far. You can go ahead and open any of my work. For instance, let me go to this one, say Rails blogging app. I open this. Now you see everything here. You can go ahead and now open and begin to see what maybe probably you need to know if I coded this thing well. Let me, like what you're doing so far. I don't need you to now open your system and begin to show me your code. All I need to do is to come here and I'll click on your code. I don't have HTML here, but because this is okay, let me, so that it will be okay. Okay, this is JavaScript. Okay. For example, this one, I've pushed it to GitHub, and all I need to do is for you to come here. Once you come here, you click on it. You can see everything I have done so far. So you'll be able to judge my work if I am good at what I claim to be good at. This is index.css. This is CSS document. So that is what GitHub provides. It's just a remote server that gives programmers the ability to push their codes online so that everybody can have access to their code. Now, why do we now need this command line prompt? I said we need this command line prompt because there are so many plugins. Sorry for using the word plugins. There are so many. Sometimes you can call them modules. You can call them. Depending on the language you're using. You can call them modules and the rest. I'm trying to remember a particular name for Ruby now. Okay, you can call them modules and other things. Now they are like plugins. They are like items that have already been built that you need to plug in, attach to your own work to make it work. Items that have already been built, and most of them are installed with the command line prompts. So that is why you need to master. You might not necessarily know everything about the command line prompt, but you need to master the basic ones. For example, how do I create a folder? When I say folder and directory, I'm saying the same thing. How do I create a folder, a directory? How do I navigate from one folder to the other? How do I creating a folder, navigating from one folder to the other, navigating backwards, and displaying the content of a folder. So that is what you do with your directory. And why we need a folder? Because most of these things are installed inside a folder. So without talking much, let's first of all look at the command line prompt and how it is being used. Last week I did 3 basic operations that we can do with the command line. I have opened my command line. If you open your command line, you will see your the default location. My default location is in my C users. While I do this, I'll also open the folder here. This is my C directory, and inside C I have users, and inside users I have user. So this is where I am now. This position is this same position. C users. Is it clear? Please, I need you to get this. These 2 positions are the same. I did this one manually with my opened folder with my Windows Explorer, and I'm doing this here with the command prompt. So I need to now create a folder in this particular directory, in this C folder, in this user folder. As I said, it can be done here. What you need to do is to make directory, mkdir, make directory, then the name of the folder. I call the folder first. You see, the folder is being created here. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that is how. Okay, go ahead.
How did you get to this command prompt? I'm not really following.
Just click on your search bar and type CMD. Can you see it? Okay. It will show up. It comes default with Windows.
Okay.
So if you click on it, it opens up. This is it. It will take you to. Okay. It will take you to some. It depends on your operating system, on what you did during your installation, but it will take you to a default folder, which you can locate. See where I located my own through Windows Explorer. So I've created a folder called first, and that folder is this. But in the command prompt, I'm not yet in that folder. I'm still in the user folder. So how do I navigate to that folder? I'll do that using. Okay, so we just created a folder, and this is the folder we created called first. I showed you how to create it, but we are not yet inside that folder. In order to navigate to that folder, we use change directory, short form CD. It's CD. The meaning of CD means change directory. And you now write the name of the folder you want to navigate to. In this case, I want to navigate to this folder I created called first. So once I click on it, now I'm inside that folder. If you can see, it's saying C, users, and first. So this is where I am now. If I'm clicking on it, I'm inside this empty folder. Is that clear?
Yes, it's clear. But sir, did you create those folders? Did you create those folders in the command prompt, or you created in your Explorer?
Which of the folders? The only folder I created now is the first folder. The other folders are already, they came with my system.
Okay, but the first folder you created from your Explorer.
Which folder in particular are you talking about?
The first folder, the one we're working with now.
The first folder I created from the command prompt. I didn't create it with the Explorer.
Oh.
You missed that part?
Yes, I did.
Okay, let me create another folder. Now I'm inside the first folder. As you can see, it's empty here on my left, on my right hand. So let me create another folder inside this first folder. So we'll go with mkdir. It stands for make directory. Please, you can write these things down. It stands for make directory. So I write the name of the folder. Let me call it another folder, another. And if you're calling the name, if it's two words, the way we normally do, you combine it with a hyphen or an underscore. If you write another folder, let me see what it gives us. So it picks the first word, another. It creates two folders for you, sorry, another and folder. It's assuming you want to create two folders. But if you join it together, join the names together, you're creating just one folder, another folder. It's not recognized as anything. Sorry, I didn't write MK. I didn't put. Okay. This is how it should work. All right, Suka, is it clear now? So I've created 3 folders.
Yes, it's clear.
So this is how I create a folder. So I said navigating to any of these folder, navigating to one of them, use CD, standing for change directory. CD, I click on, maybe I call the folder name another, and enter. It takes me to that folder. So I'm inside this folder now, another. So this is how to create a folder, navigate to a folder. Then I want to go back to, let's say I want to go back to the first folder. Remember, I'm inside another folder. I want to go back to the first folder. Or, okay, let's say inside another folder. Let me create another folder inside this another folder. Make directory, last folder. So I navigate to this last folder, CD, last folder. So I'm inside this last folder now. Well, remember, last folder is inside another folder, which is inside the first folder. So I want to navigate to this first folder. I want to go backwards. Do that using CD space bar, one space bar, dash, and slash. Enter. I've gone back. I've gone one step back. So if I repeat the process again, I'll go another step back, dash, slash. So I'm inside the first. But if I want to jump 2 steps back, I can do CD. You can guess that, dash, slash, dash, slash. I guess, let's see. Yeah. So I'm not inside. I went 2 steps back. I was inside first. I moved to user and I moved to users. So I'm inside this users folder, which is this folder here. This is where I am now, presently. That contains, now another thing. Now I'm inside this folder. Let's say I'm not using Windows Explorer. I don't know what this folder contains. I want to check the content of this folder. I can do that using dir, another command. See, it's now listing what I have inside that folder. If you want to confirm, you can open it here. These are the content of that folder, the visible content of that folder. I have public, we have user. And if anyone that is not shown are the ones that are hidden folders. If I move forward, I move to CD. Let me move to CD and user. And from user, I move to CD first. Okay, now I want to see the content of this first folder, because I'm not working with my Explorer and I don't know what this first folder contains. It contains 3 folders inside, but I don't know. So if I want to check the content of a folder, I just need to type dir, and it gives me the content of a folder. So you can see you have the first folder called another, the another one called another folder, and the last one called folder, which is what we have here. Another folder and folder. So these are the few basic commands that you've been needing so far. Been needing this one so far. Another one that might be of use to you is this command called code spacebar dash. See what it does? It opens up VS Code in that folder. It opens up a VS Code. Now the VS Code is opened in the first folder. So these are the content of the first folder, another folder, and code and folder. The VS Code is your default code editor. If you're using Sublime, anyone that's your default code editor, automatically once you type code, spacebar, dots, it will open, and then click on enter, it will open your default code editor. Are these processes clear, please? I need to get feedback.
Yeah, clear. Please hold on. Let me write something.
I didn't get you.
So, to open the folder using VS Code,
okay,
is to click to type in code, then space dot.
Yeah, then enter.
All right.
Let's say you want to work inside this folder instead of going through the stress of opening VS Code, then navigating to the folder. Once you open the folder, navigate to the folder on your command prompt, you can just type code dash dash and opens the folder for you. Code spacebar dot, then enter, and it opens the folder for you. All right, having said that, that will be all for command line. Then these things we did here, as I said, your VS Code does one thing for you. Your VS Code comes with a default command prompt interface, which is called a terminal. So this is a terminal. This is also a terminal called command prompt. This is a terminal. They are all called terminals. Your VS Code comes with one. So once you click on your VS Code, you see, if you maximize, you see terminal, click on terminal and click on new, it opens up this terminal for you. So everything we did there, we can also do here. Like this is my first. I can navigate to another folder from here. CD, there's a folder called another inside this first. I'm now inside that another folder. So that in case I want to install something inside this folder, I'm in the folder. So everything we do, I can create a folder inside this. Let me create a folder here called make directory, called it good. I just created a folder inside this another. Sorry, let me see. Yeah. CD. Oh, sorry, it's not there. It's supposed to be inside this another. So there's a folder here called good. Can we see? We just created now. So everything we did on that command, on the Windows command prompt, we can also do using the VS Code terminal. That was also what I wanted to demonstrate. So having said that, we'll move to the next thing for today, which is creating a GitHub account. Okay, so I will start with GitHub. This is creating a GitHub account. As straightforward as it is. Is there a question?
Yes, sir. I have a question.
All right, go ahead.
So this command prompt, what's the importance? What do we use it for? Okay. I know that apart from creating, what's its relevance in the whole programming?
Yeah, I mentioned something earlier. I said, as you proceed in this work, which we will see shortly, there are some bundles you'll be installing. Bundles are like helper. There are some bundles and packages you'll be installing as time goes on. Now, those bundles and packages are not installed the normal way. You know, the normal way you download a software and you now double click on it, it starts installing. Most bundles that are used in web applications are not installed that way. They are installed using the command prompt. In those cases, you might be working on a folder, you might be working on something, and they say, navigate to this directory and install this bundle. So you have to know how to navigate to the directory they mean. Let's say you're working on, maybe you have a folder here called images, and you need to navigate to that images folder and install something that will make your website work very well. So how do you install that? You can't click on it. If you click on it, where will it install? And these bundles and packages, they don't come with the possibility of just clicking on them to install them. You have to run them through your terminals. So that is why we are going through this. Don't worry, as you proceed, you understand the use of these things. But just know that they are used to install bundles and packages that are used in web development. These bundles and packages are essential in web development. When you start learning React and the rest, you understand it better. But for now, because we want to go into GitHub, that's why I'm introducing it now, so that you also know how to run these things. So, Suka, are you okay?
Yes, I am. I'm okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, let me proceed. Okay, I now talked of GitHub. I've did introduction to GitHub, what GitHub does, what it is. Okay, this is the website. It's just a remote server that helps programmers to, as I said before, store their work. Okay, I'm already logged in. Let me log out, sign out. So this is GitHub. This is it. Okay, GitHub. All right, so you can see my screen, right? All right, so this is the GitHub website. And how do you sign up for GitHub? Just click on sign up and open an account to GitHub. It's very straightforward, nothing complicated. Already have an account, sign in, don't have an account, enter your email address. So if you enter your email address, it signs you up. I'm already signed up, so I wouldn't go through this process again. I'm already signed up. So if you just, I'm sure you can figure it out. Just put your email address and it will send you a link, confirm the link, and you're already signed, and you already have an account to GitHub. So let me go back and sign in again. Okay, so this is the layout. Yours might not appear like this. I don't know how the new one appears, but this is my profile. Of course, you might not have a profile picture. This place might be blank, but basically you might not have all this welcome, all this configuration done here, but you just have the layout. And what do you do with this? I'll just do a quick example and I will show you how you can push something I can push something from my computer to this remote so that anybody can view my work on GitHub. I start like this. There's every work you do, or I won't call it a website, no, every app is called a repository in GitHub. It's called a repo. The word repository. It's called a repository in GitHub. Now, if you want to start working, the first thing you're recommended to do is to create a new repository. See this arrow for create new. You can click on the profile, your profile picture or your profile. Of course, you not have a picture there for now. You just have something blank. You can click on this to show you new repository, import repository, new code, but all that concerns you for now is new repository. So if I click on new repository, it brings up this page. Yours might not show this choose owner. It will just display your name, your username. You can give the repository a name. The name should be the name of the app you're trying to build. Now, let me say I'm trying to build, in the case of David, maybe the other app you're trying to create on the website, maybe you call it something EduTech, for instance. So I say EduTech, and I click. So once you're done with this, you can come here and click on add README file. You understand what README does as time goes on. Add a README file. then create a repo. So I have created a repository. Now I have these documents. I have this in my remote server, but I don't have anything like this in my computer. Now I need to create a link between my computer and the remote server, such that if I make a change in my computer, I can push it to this place. Am I making sense, please? Is it clear so far?
Yes, sir.
So I just created a new repo. Now, after creating a repo, there is something we call cloning a repo. I need to clone this repo I've created. The word cloning means making a duplicate of that repo. Making a duplicate of that repo. And in order to do this, what I need to do is I come to my okay, in order to create make a duplicate, I come to this place written code. If you click on this place, this icon here tells you that you can copy this thing. It tells you can copy this. And please, when you come here, for now, just stick with HTTPS. Of course, most times when you create, it will be HTTPS will be highlighted by default. So if I click on this to copy it, or you can manually copy it like this. You can manually copy like this. And copy, Control C to copy, or anyhow you want to do it, you can copy it like this. Sorry. Right click on it and copy. Or you just come here and click on this icon. This icon means if you see this icon in GitHub, it means you can copy this thing. Once I copy it, now see where the command prompt comes to play. I need to now create this on my machine. I move over to this is my command prompt window. Now, this is where I want to create it. I have a folder that I've been working with. I call this folder, let's say I call this folder, I'm sure you're working with a particular folder. Now, this is the folder I've been working with. My folder is inside documents, inside web materials, inside LHI devs. So inside this folder, I need to create this app or this repo, duplicate it. Like I'm creating a folder, opening it in GitHub and adding files to it. So that is what I need to do. You understand me? So now, in order to make this work, I go to my command prompt. I'm trying to search for this folder using my command prompt. Meanwhile, I'm inside users. So I'm inside first, sorry, let me go back. Okay, let's say my command prompt wasn't open before and I open it. And for some reason, VS Code wasn't open. Let me close the VS Code. Let me close VS Code. Okay, so this is what I have. This is where I am now. Remember, I've created a repo. I have copied the link to the repo. Then I want to create it. I want to clone it on my local machine. So I come to CD. CD is used for changing directory. I'm looking for my documents. This folder called documents. Can you see? CD document. It gave me documents. If probably you've been working in your desktop, all you need to do is to search desktop. If let's say you were working on desktop, see, it will bring out desktop. So, but I was working on a document folder. Documents. So I have documents here. And inside document, I want to create it in a folder called web. I have a folder called web material where I put all my stuffs. And inside web material, I have another folder called LHI devs. Click on it. Now, this is where I want to create this folder. It's called folder on my machine, but on GitHub, it's called repository. Please don't mistake the two names. So now, if I come here, I click git clone space. I now paste what I copied from there. This is what I copied from there. Git clone and the link I copied, my repo link, my remote repository link. Once I click on enter, it starts cloning it. It will build that folder for me. Can you see what happens there? It created this edutech for me. Are we clear to this point, please?
Yes, sir.
So see what happened? Cloning into edutech, remotes, it will just clone it for you, create that folder for you. You have it there. But you know, I'm not in the folder yet. I'm still inside this folder called LHI. So I need to navigate into that folder. I now go ahead and navigate into that folder with my CD command. Remember CD to change directory. The folder is called edutech. Click on it. So I'm inside this folder. Now I can now open this folder with my VS Code so that I can add some code to this folder. Now go ahead and say code. So I'm inside edutech. And remember, when I created my repository online, the only thing I had was this README file. If you remember, the only thing I had, this is the README file. That's the only thing I have. I don't have another file. So, and I have this README file here, and it's empty. The only thing written on it is edutech, which is this word here, edutech. Can you see that I'm able to duplicate what I have online on my local machine? So here now, I can now start adding files to it. Maybe I want to add another one file, index.html. I've added a file called index.html. In this file, I want to add some code, lines of code. Say, okay, let me want to add a few lines of code. Okay, so this is okay. So I want to add a few lines of code. Remember, I'm adding this here. For now, it's on my machine. It is not on the GitHub repo. After adding it here, I need to find a way to send it to the GitHub repo. So let me just finish adding it. Let's say body, I say, what do I want to add? Say body, I say, let me add H1. Okay. Call it hello. Okay. So I've added this file called index.html. It's here. It is not on my local machine. It is not on my remote. It's on my local machine. Now I have to push it to my remote so that anybody that wants to see the work I have done so far, we know we will have access to that work. Because for now, all they'll be seeing is an empty, just having a README file and nothing else. So I now need to push it so that they will see. And how do we do this? Open your terminal. You can do this on your command prompt here. No problem. You can do this here. But since I've already opened VS Code, let me use the terminal in the VS Code. I open the terminal and I come here. I said the first thing, please, I want you to write these things down. I've told you how to clone the command is in cloning, git clone, the link to the repo you want to clone for that, and the other code to open VS Code. That one is not part of a GitHub this command. So another GitHub command now is the command to add it to the remote. The first thing is git add spacebar and dots. What this git add does, there's something we call staging. Now it stages what you want to push to the remote. The meaning of staging means I might have so many files I added here, but the only one I want to push to remote for now is my index.html file. I don't want to push the others. So if I do git add spacebar dots, I'm staging everything. But okay, so I don't confuse us. Let's just follow like this. I'm pushing everything I have here to my remote. We'll do it separately. Let's just do everything together. So I use git add to stage what I want to push to my remote. Then another command is git commit -m. Then this M is for messages. You have to write a commit message. The reason why you're writing a commit message is you might be working in a group, working on a particular work, doing a particular work on a group. You need to know what the person changed. You need to know, because as you grow, okay, see this website you built. See how long the code is. Let's say I want to add to that your code, and maybe the previous code I saw online had something, and you now made a change. How do I now know exactly what you changed? And so that is why it's good to add a commit message. It's called a commit message, so that anybody knows that, okay, this is what I changed. So this commit message, I can say add, and when adding a commit message, you do it in the present tense, not in the past tense. You can't say added something. You say add. Say add index.html file. I say add index. So the person opening this repo now knows that what you changed is you added an index.html file. So the person does not need to crack his brain to know exactly what you did. So once the person opened that file, the person will now see that you added the file. You added the file and also added some HTML tags and the rest of the file. So I can now click on enter. So it has now taken my commit remotely. Now, the last one I need to do to now push it to the remote is called git push. Git push. Please don't forget git push origin. Origin is saying push this work on my local machine to the origin where the work came from. Git push origin. And we've not talked about branch, but just bear with me for now. If you look down on your VS Code, there is something called main here. This symbol you're seeing here is the symbol of, it's a branch. So you're saying that git push origin, you need to specify the branch you want to push to origin. And if you look down here, whichever branch you're working on is always displayed here on your VS Code. So for now, I'm working on my main branch. We'll talk of how to create branches as time goes on, but just follow me for now. This shows that I want to push my main branch to the origin of this repo. So I type main. So I'm saying git push origin main. Git push means push this main branch to the origin of this repository. If I click on enter, and it does the job for me. Give it a few minutes. It's trying to carry the whole of this file and push it up. Okay, so that has been done. Let's now go and see our file. If I refresh my page here, see what I have here now. See, I have the index.html file I just created. If I open it, see the code I just added. So with this, all you need to do is to give me this repo link. I already know how to check your work. The person, maybe you're applying for a job or something, they already know how to see what you've done so far. Please, to this stage, is it clear?
Yes, please.
Yes, it is. Please help us upload video by Tuesday.
I know videos will come. I just need to make sure you understand it now. Videos will come, don't worry. All right, any
Can
question?
someone copy your code?
Pardon?
Can someone copy your code
Of course, somebody can copy your code.
and make it their own?
Yes, somebody can copy your code and make it their own. But you know one thing about this field, it will be very difficult for you to copy code of something you don't understand. Trust me. Don't worry, this is just a small thing you're doing. As the code gets complicated, if you're copying a code that you don't even understand anything about coding, it's not possible. It's not possible. You can't copy a code where you don't understand anything the person did. It's not possible. You understand it as time goes on. I can give you a code. Okay, let me show you an example. I have this code here. If I give you this to copy, you don't understand anything here, what will you copy? Even if you copy it, you don't even know how it works. You don't even know how to make it work. Like this one, for instance. These are codes. This is my GitHub link. So even if I open and I say you want to copy, even if you copy this thing, what will you do with it? Because in the first place, you don't even understand what it does. So it takes somebody who understands this thing to successfully copy this code. See the code. And you see where the code is hidden inside another folder. So you have to know what you're searching for and where you're searching for it. So you can't just bug in and start copying. You have to understand what you're doing. You can see you have so many folders here. So if I'm to give you this link to copy, where would you start from? What do you know? How do you know what you're copying? There's an app folder here. There's a bin folder here. Do you know what they do? You must first of all know what they do before you know what you copy.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So please, I need you to throw in your questions on this because this is something you'll be using a lot. It's very interesting. It makes the work very easy, but sometimes it can be very complicated. Paul, are you full? Okay, so go ahead, Stuka.
So, sir, the folder you just uploaded now on your GitHub is a new folder and a new code. So how do we upload one that we already have on our system?
Yes, I knew you will have that question. I just wanted us to go through this, then we'll do that.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I also understand that in your VS Code, there's another link. There's a way you can install the G2 or GHub, sorry, GHub. GHub. Yeah, GitHub.
Okay.
In your to connect it with your VS Code, there's a place. I think I encountered that I think about 2 or 3 days ago. There's a way you can install it or get registered through your VS Code. I think I stumbled on it yesterday or day first there, something like that.
How do you mean? You can whichever method there is. I know there is GitHub desktop. There's a GitHub desktop use, but it's practically the same principle. Practically, there's GitHub desktop that you can use. It just like gives you an interface where you can actually do these things. You just be clicking on buttons and doing the work you're supposed to do with codes. But I'll prefer you learn how to push it with your code.
Okay, so now the one directly from the VS Code can also do the same job with the one you just showed us now. Is that?
Yeah, I've been using VS Code, so I didn't use command prompt again. And you can use.
Yes, what I'm saying is that okay, there is a particular place I click, especially down here where the screen is on your VS Code, those icons by the side.
Okay, this one.
Yes, by the side, there's I think this the one with the screen type. Also, I click it and it's open another environment and I saw install GitHub.
Okay, you mean extension.
Sir?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, there are extensions that help you GitHub faster. Let me see. I think there are extensions.
There's a GitHub. You pass the GitHub there too.
Yeah, there's Git extension pack, Git history, Git bash, GitHub. Okay, GitHub Copilot, GitHub them. Yeah, there are okay, GitHub pull request, GitHub Git merge. But if you ask me, please just go by coding it manually so that you get used to it now. If after you've done it for a while.
When you click that, I think there is a GitHub there, GitHub action, right?
I understand what you're saying. We have extensions that also make it easier for you. What I'm saying is, I want you to master how to use GitHub commands. Because if you're going for an interview, nobody will ask you, do you have an extension? In fact, the computer they might give you might not have any extension. So what do you do?
Okay.
So you have to know how to use GitHub commands. And for now, we've learned, I think 4 of it. Have to clone, git clone, and then have to push, git add, git. As time goes on, there are lots of them. But I just wanted to master this few and know how to work with them. So any other question apart from the question Suka asked, how to upload already created file on your system to remotes? Any other questions? Okay. So okay, what I just did now. I would like somebody to demonstrate it for me. I want you to open before we do the next one. I just want somebody to run through this for me. So is that clear? I need a volunteer. Oh. Oh, okay, our time is fast spent. Let's just proceed. Now, another question is, I already have a file on my system. This one we just did is I'm creating from GitHub to my system. Then another question is the question Suka asked. I already have a file, I already have a document on my system. I want to push it to GitHub. But most times the process flows from it's easy. I will advise before you start building, you create a repo first and work from GitHub to your system. But if for some reason you've already created it on your machine, it's still fine. You can also push it to GitHub. And let's go through that process now. Okay. In any way, in any of the process you're going, remember for each task, you have to open a new repo. Please don't forget, for each task, you will have to open a new repo. So let me work with, let me say I have, okay, let me say, I don't know, okay. All right, I have a file here called class 4. So let me work with this file. Let me work with this file. I will rename the file. I'll call it practice. Call it practice. Okay, I'll call it practice. So which means I want to now open a new repo. Now call this repo. I'll call it practice because the file I created is also called practice. Okay, in this case, okay, let me add a README and I create the repo. Okay, so this is the file. This is the file, but they are not connected yet. There is no connection now between what is on my local machine and that file. So let me go ahead and connect them together. So I can use VS Code. I can use VS Code to open the file since I already have it here. Open the file, this file called practice. So I opened it here, and this is the file. All right. So now I open my terminal. The first thing I will do is I'll initialize GitHub on this file using git init. It means that I am initializing GitHub. I'm trying to tell the file, I want to link you up to the remote, to a remote